Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Popcorn Talks. I am one part of the podcast, RelayTS, alongside me, Crenbeast. Today we're going to go over part 1, which was 10 episodes, pretty much a whole entire season of Manifest, which in my opinion was amazing. It exceeded my expectations because my expectations are honestly pretty low. And yeah, we're going to get into it. So, Cren, you can take it away.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff to go over today. Season 4 of Manifest so far is crazy. And I'm assuming if you're listening to this, you've seen it. If you have not seen part 1, I hate to do this, but I would not listen to this or watch this if you're on YouTube.
Bookmark it or something and come back.
Save it and come back after you watch it because there will be spoilers. And this is your one warning. Spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. That we're not going to say spoilers every time we give a spoiler from now on. This is your one warning.
Yeah.
The entire show is going to have spoilers. But we have a lot of stuff to get into. We're going to go over all of the theories, the fan theories. We're going to go over how incredible Josh Dallas' performance was in this season 4.
And how everybody was honestly better.
Yeah, and just how Netflix, how you can tell it has a different, I guess not production team, but owner. So like they don't have as many rules. And then also just some little bitty things that you might have missed in the show. Kind of uncovering some plot lines that you might have been confused about. But first, just a quick reminder, if you're on Apple or iTunes, same thing. If you're on Apple or Spotify, go ahead and leave us a 5-star review. Doesn't matter what you say, just make sure it's 5 stars for YouTube. Like, comment, share, subscribe with notifications on. And then go follow all of our socials. We'll have them linked in the description. But with that being said, what were your initial thoughts on part 1? We did an episode on 1 and 2, just the entire part, initial episodes. Let's give it a rating out of 10. Let's go ahead and start out by doing that.
A rating out of 10?
Yeah. What do you think?
I would say, compared to my expectations of what the show, I think it was a solid 8 out of 10, part 1. Okay.
Now, rate it, not, take away, expectations. Just rate it when you're also comparing it to, other top shows. 10 is for you, Stranger Things and Breaking Bad. 1 is White Lotus.
I would say lower 7s. In the lower 7.
It's about a 7.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm right there with you, probably a little higher.
Okay.
Now, if we're doing the entirety of Manifest, I'm 6.5, 7.
Yeah.
But just season 4, I'm gonna actually give it an 8. Just the season 4 in general so far, I'm gonna give it an 8. I thought it's made the show more enjoyable for me. It feels like the corny writing and over the dialogues where they have to explain to kind of mansplain to the audience what's going on while also talking to a character. It feels like that's gone a little bit. The corny commercial cuts are gone. Just little things that cleaned it up, and they also are trying to tie up loose ends. So seasons 1 through 3, I had so many issues, and the main thing was they were not completing stories. So you had the whole Alzurus thing, they just kind of bailed on that. You had kind of the whole Zeke thing, where Zeke, came back to life, but it was what does it mean? What's going on? They just kind of bailed on some storylines, and you can tell they're attempting to wrap them up. And I think that was kind of the purpose.
Well, they wrapped up Zeke's story.
Yeah, I think that was the purpose of what they did there at the end. So, yeah, kind of buried the lead here. Zeke is gone. What did you think of that scene?
So, personally, I think the lead up to that moment of Zeke taking Cal's cancer and sacrificing himself for the greater good or whatever, yeah. I think that was insanely well done, because I went back and actually watched a YouTube video explaining the end of the part 1, episode 10, and it had, whenever Zeke went upstairs and heard them say Cal can save the world, then he realized, all right, I know what has to be done. I know why I got these powers, and now I have to, make a sacrifice. I thought that was personally very well done, and that was my favorite part of part 1. I think
it was a beautiful scene too. Yeah. And they were doing that leading up to that. The last episode or two, they really done it for a few episodes. These flashbacks into the past, and I'm going to get into some theories on that, by the way, in a little bit. But you notice those flashbacks were kind of almost grayscale, black and white, and the mood kind of seemed off, and it was that right there, going back and showing Zeke's journey and kind of reminding you of everything he went through, because I think Zeke, from really after he got clean up into the last like episodes 8 through 10 of season 4, he was just such a perfect person.
Yeah.
We forgot like all the pain that he went through, and he was hooked on drugs. He literally died. Like like all of these things he went through. So I think that was really important to be reminded of. But I will admit, it kind of came as a smack in the face.
Yeah,
because Zeke is one of my favorite characters.
Oh, I think he was my favorite character. Yeah, so well outside of Ben Stone, but that like you said, he was a perfect character, like a perfect person in the show. Like he was a nice guy, everything. It seemed like his life was literally perfect. Yeah. Until he relapsed, and then he started trying to take on others' emotions. Like he just started going crazy. He shot that lady. He pushed his client up against the wall. Like he started having these outbursts, and then he couldn't figure out. It seemed like he couldn't figure out like why he got these powers. He had no idea why. Now he can't even like do his job or anything. And I feel like when he came to that realization, he thought this was his redemption. This was his time to redeem himself for all the bad things that he's done. And yeah, like I said, I think it was like a good ending. But I was expecting someone to die, but I was not expecting him, considering like he pretty much already died. But I'm not mad at it.
I mean, at this point, though, in the show, I'm questioning what death even is. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he could be back completely next part, and I wouldn't be surprised because I don't really know. I have no clue what death could mean. But the whole time that Zeke was going through what he was going through during this season, it just reminded me of another show I watched called Once Upon a Time, and one of the main themes in it is that all magic comes with a price. And basically, every time they do something with magic to help them get something, something unintended happens. And that's kind of what happened with Zeke here. Every time he would use his gifts or whatever you want to call it to like feel empathy, he accidentally, and like he would take that pain or that sadness or whatever they were feeling from them. And you can see it work the opposite way too. When he felt like somebody genuinely happy, it like moved him to tears a couple of times or it made him happy. Yeah. So that's like, I don't even know. I would not want that.
That would be a crazy like power to have.
That'd be one of the least, because you could just accidentally take the feelings of like a Jeffrey Dahmer. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't want that power.
I mean, like at first it seemed like it was just emotions. But then it was like, then he started feeling like physical. Yeah. Like, then he started...
It just weighed him down.
And I feel like that was a sign of like what was about to happen, but I didn't see it. I didn't see him like coming and taking Cal's disease or cancer. Like,
that was wild.
And seeing his face transform and all that, and like him calling Michaela.
I didn't know he could do that.
Yeah, no, me neither. And then, like, I think that was by far the most emotional scene in the entire show so far.
I got one that beats you for me personally.
You think?
Well, I mean,
it was Zeke dying and Cal coming back to life, and like all the stuff that happened before the world going up in the flames. Like,
so actually, the number one emotional moment of the show, the entire show for me right now, and this is a good segue because I want to talk about the first 5 episodes and its plot line and Ben's story, was the moment that Ben got Eden back. Was absolutely just like that like when he finally, after all that, was able to hold Eden in his arms and sit there and think, I have my daughter back. Like, that part got me.
Yeah.
Like, that part got me.
That was good because I actually want to touch on this too. Like, I was afraid the Eden storyline was going to go on for too long. I thought that was going to be the entirety of part 1 for a second.
Yeah, we talked about that in the last one.
And I said I wanted to end up at episode 5, and it did. So they did that perfectly. Yeah. But to see Ben go through everything he did, he pretty much was going insane. Like we said, Crenn said originally, but I agreed. He's the male version of Joyce Byers. If you haven't seen Stranger Things, Joyce Byers went insane over her kid missing and everything. And nobody believed her when she said he's still alive. And that's what happened to Ben. But Ben was like, he was going through outbursts. He almost killed that guy. He was clearly depressed. Like, he had the huge beard, the scruffy hair, like everything. He was like just angry, sad, ignoring Cal, blaming Cal, not talking to any of his family. like in his attic, he had all the pictures and everything. Like, I thought that was perfect for his storyline, and to see him, like you said, like finally get to hug his daughter was like that was a huge moment.
I mean, it was legitimately like I told you yesterday, it brought like tears to my eyes because like you could just see all of that pain like just evaporate. And the moment after he got her back, he went back up into the attic and he looked at a picture of Grace and said, "I did it." That part got me. Like I'm talking chills. Like it got me. But so speaking of, I just want the audience to know, you brought up a good point in Ben Stone being Joyce Byers.
Yeah.
We have some other pretty crazy Stranger Things comparisons, but we're going to get into theories towards the back half of the episode. So if you're here for theories, you feel free to go ahead and skip ahead. That's where we're going to kind of touch on, what could actually be going on, and then also some really crazy theories. That does involve Stranger Things.
Yeah.
But just remember, it's all connected. But, so Ben's story, it reminds me, Joyce Byers is the best way to do it, but they took like somebody who was just a perfect person. He was like the golden boy. He was the one that everybody looked to. It was
leader.
It was almost a Breaking Bad type of, like a Walter White type of progression, because it wasn't just season 4. You could see it all the way from the very beginning. He, like, season 1, he has a clean shaved face. He's wearing bright clothes. He has Grace. He's, even when Grace is with the other guy, he plays it perfectly. He obviously he makes little mistakes, but he's cool, calm, and collected, and he's doing everything he can for other people. And then season 2, like, he has scruff on his face, and you can see him start to be a little more assertive, and everything is just about solving the callings. And then season 3, it gets even more intense, and he has more scruff on his face, and he starts to dress darker, and he compromises himself. Like, that season 3 is when he throws the guy to the ground, when he's like, he starts ignoring Michaela and the cops and starts to do things on his own.
And then finally at season 4, he like snapped. He didn't even like care about the lifeboat at that point.
Yeah, he literally only cared about his daughter. But the thing is,
that's understandable. But
the whole thing, like, you can understand it.
But like whenever Michaela came up to him in his attic, she said like, "You're not even paying attention to the lifeboat anymore." That's all he was caring about for like those 3 seasons. Like, he literally knows everything about everyone from that plane, and then he just disregarded everything to focus on just his daughter.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, he might have needed that.
Yeah.
Because, he was
so invested.
Yeah, he was getting, like, worse. Like, throughout the seasons, he was just worse, to the point where he almost killed somebody on accident. And then his wife died, and his daughter got kidnapped, and Cal disappeared all at the same time. Cal came back, but they had to pretend that Cal was a different person, which we'll talk about that in a second too. But that, I think, changed his priorities. So it looked bad on the surface. Like, he wasn't taking care of himself. He was ignoring his other kids. He was locked up in his attic, like Beautiful Mind style, just playing, trying to piece the puzzle together. But in reality, what was actually happening was, for the first time since season 1, he had his priorities in check. So I thought it was just a beautiful moment when he got his daughter back, and then he shaved, and it was kind of like the old Ben's back. And I think for the audience, that was kind of everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Like, that's what we felt. And then it got ruined pretty quickly because Angelina is a crazy person.
Yeah.
My God.
I mean, the smallest villain I've ever seen. I mean, she, like, at first, I did not think she was that bad of a person. But then, like, what happened, I think the turning point, obviously the turning point, was the end of season 3, whenever she just let the curtains get on fire or whatever and say, "She's my guardian angel," and just start going crazy.
Yeah.
That was a turning point in the entire show, as far as, like, the villain versus the, good guys.
And this, good Lord, the angel of death. That's what I've written in my notes. Angelina is the angel of death. She's horrible. And you could see this coming, though. Like, at the end of season 3, when she first realizes or starts thinking that Eden is her guardian angel. Remember, there's that one scene, and we talked about this. It's kind of a bone-chilling scene, but when she tries to like put a fire to herself to see if Eden would stop it, there's like it like pans back to that moment where the fire's behind her on the drapes and it's coming out like behind her and it looks like angel wings.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my lord, she's a demon.
Yeah,
she's a demon.
Yeah.
And so like you could kind of see that coming, but I'm with you. I didn't know it was going to be like she was going to be the villain. Like obviously she's not. There's obviously some supernatural stuff going on, but
as far as people, she is the worst one out there.
You know what?
That is somehow still alive.
Yeah.
First of all.
Yeah, I don't. And you know how Adrian's whole thing was calling all of them agents of the apocalypse. She's literally the agent of the apocalypse. She has misread every moment that she's been given through the calling. She's misread everything, and she keeps making these horrible decisions, and she is bringing on exactly what they're trying to stop, like inadvertently, just because she has misread it. And then also, this is actually a problem I had. What was up with her mom situation?
Yeah, that was weird. Like her mom just suddenly started to kidnap.
Yeah, and kill.
Like, I feel like that storyline was kind of questionable. I don't think that was honestly. I feel like if you took out that whole entire storyline of her killing 828 passengers for no reason, and you take that out, there's no difference.
Well, it wasn't no reason. She thought that first off they knew where Angelina was, so they could get her caught. But then also, she was trying to kill the people that were directly in contact with Angelina because they were the ones that led her astray.
Well, it was very innocent.
But no, and 100%.
I think that like if you take out that storyline, there wouldn't be much difference in how part 1 played out.
Yeah, no, I agree. Now, I will say this though. I think I know what they were trying to do. That was another one of those loose ends. So when they found Angelina, she was kidnapped by her parents, remember? Which, I guess not kidnapped, but she was trapped in that little room by her parents.
Yeah.
And we never got closure on that. They never explained why. The parents were never in it again. The parents just let the daughter go and didn't even say anything. So I think that this was their attempt. And we learned when Adrian and Angelina were like tied up and they were talking about like what the mom was trying to do and that she was this psycho like religious cultish type person. I think what they were trying to do was tie that loose end back up like retroactively and show, okay, the reason she was held up in the first place was because of her parents. And
not to mention the dad, whenever he went to the house, he said that I need to show Angelina that kid is not what she thinks it is or whatever. That's literally what he said.
Yeah. And I think
so that might have been why.
Yeah. And I think they're also trying to create depth in Angelina's background, because if she's going to be one of the main villains, we need an origin story. We need to understand why she is what she is. And being
trapped and held hostage by your parents is probably a good origin story.
And it kind of shows the way she was raised before she went missing on the flight too. Like, if she was raised by that, no wonder.
Yeah, I mean, obviously abuse. So
but so kind of transitioning here. So the callings are obviously something we see throughout the entire show. From show 1, episode 1, when she finds those kids in that doghouse in the backyard or whatever, it's been like the main theme. And then we learn towards the end of part 1 that the callings can be controlled and manipulated with that sapphire.
Yeah.
And we also know that the Major was actually she understood sapphire. She was using it in her research. She had all of those 828 828 members and the patients that were in the home or whatever. She was using their shared conscious and somehow is incorporating sapphire. Could it be possible, since all of them were everybody in 828 shares a consciousness after the flight for whatever reason?
Yeah.
So could it be possible that not all, but a lot of those callings that were leading to certain things were actually controlled by the Major?
Yeah, I mean, that means that there were some bad callings. I'm trying to recall, like, no pun intended, but like I'm trying to recall a moment where there was like moments in season 3 or whatever season 2 where there was like bad moment where people were being led to bad things. I know there was like a few like questionable callings. People had no idea like what was going on. So maybe so, because that would explain why they were so freaked out. Like there could be false callings. Like Zombie said, there could be false callings with the Sapphire.
Well, that would also explain why Adrian and some other A28ers thought that, like, they were adamant that the callings were actually evil.
Yeah,
so the callings weren't.
Maybe they were.
Yeah, or maybe like
because of the false callings.
But like maybe there were good callings, but then mixed in there were also callings that were manipulated because again,
so they just didn't trust them.
Yeah, again, if they have a shared consciousness and she was able to because remember she had these people and she had them basically sedated, and if she was able to control their conscience, she could send that message to everybody that was an A28. So I don't know, weird stuff. The callings, I have a feeling we're going to learn a lot more. Well, obviously, we're going to learn everything in part 2. I hope they tie it all up.
I hope they have enough time in those 10 episodes to really just tie up the storyline. I'm really nervous about that. I feel like they should have tried to renew another season just to give them a little bit more breathing room.
Yeah.
But, because, I mean, it was already a ton to unpack in part 1, and we still have to end off Angelina's storyline and preventing the whole entire world from being on fire. So.
Yeah. And the fire, look, we said this last episode, it's literally, they're following, like, biblical principles.
Oh, yeah.
Or they're following, like, so Noah's Ark is, obviously, they found the driftwood of Noah's Ark, which I think it might not actually be Noah's Ark. I'm not sure that we know that for sure. I think they could be wrong, but we'll find out. But Noah's Ark was obviously the first, quote, apocalypse. Like, flooded the earth, Noah and his ark and the animals and everybody survived, whatever. And then, in Revelations, it predicts the second apocalypse where the earth is engulfed in fire and flames. That's obviously looks like what's going on at the end, and they kind of start to figure out the callings, the death date isn't just for them, it's for everybody. So,
yeah, when I found that out, that was like a big turning point for me, like viewing the entire show, because I was like, wait a second, because I know you figured that out earlier, but personally, I did not know that everyone had an expiration date. So now it's not just about these 100 or 200 something people from the
194, I believe.
Yeah, so 200 people from the A28. It's now about the entire world.
Yeah,
hell, like the entire world depends on these 200 people.
And the unfortunate part,
and Angelina is the one trying to prevent it. And she, not intentionally, just because she's brainwashed, pretty much.
Yeah. And the unfortunate part is, I think what the writers of Manifest are doing and what the creator has done, like his name is Jeff Rake, I think it's taking the religious principles of, it's not just Christianity, it's really any religion, but they're just taking stories, like in historical context, specifically from the Bible, and really in the apocalyptic writing. But what they've done is the A28ers, like, if you want to compare it to the Bible, like, they are the Christians. So, like, if you are assuming, obviously, Manifest isn't real. If you're assuming, like, this story is, like, this, like, kind of mimicking the Bible or any religious text like that, like, they are the Christians who are trying to spread the word, and everyone else thinks they're crazy and does not understand them. Like, they are the prophets. They're seeing the callings, and they're trying to spread it. Everybody's calling them crazy. So the hard part about them trying to save the world is nobody thinks it's the end times. Nobody understands the expiration date. Nobody understands that they're seeing things. They think they're all crazy.
There's literally a handful of people who actually do believe them. Like,
and it's people that
like Jared and
have seen it firsthand.
Yeah.
And other people won't give them the time of day. So it's part 2 is going to be wild.
I mean, like I said, back to the time part. Like, can they do this in 10 episodes and not make it seem rushed?
I don't know how.
I don't know how that's possible.
I think
I am glad they did 20 episodes because there's no way they could have done this in 10.
I think I've been waiting for a show to do this, and The Last Kingdom is actually kind of doing this, but they also wrapped up their show perfectly, so a little different. I've been waiting for a show to run its course and then to end it with a movie. I think that is actually going to become popular because you're seeing some shows make movies. I really wish Manifest would have left you on a cliffhanger and then wrapped it up with the movie.
Well, they still could, right?
No, because they said the story's ending. So they've obviously ended the story. They could create a movie, but it would be adding on.
Yeah.
Like, I want them to purposely write I wish they would have done that. Like, imagine getting done with the next, and then like we have almost all our answers, but it's right there. It's like when you're about to hit the climax, and it's like it just stops, and then you have this massive explosion because you get to the theaters and there's a movie, and oh my
that would be
gosh.
sick.
And I really wish a show would do that specifically, but that's topic for another
Maybe
day.
Stranger Things 5 will do that. That'd be cool.
That would be wild.
Yeah.
A Stranger Things movie, going to the theaters and watching Stranger Things.
Well, there's rumors that like the last episode might be like in theaters because it's longer. That'd be cool, but I don't know.
I mean, Stranger Things is already putting out crazy watch times. They had like a 2.5 hour episode.
Yeah.
In season 4. Wild. But okay, so one last thing before we get to theories. Cal has this little moment, and I don't remember what episode it is, but there's this one moment where he remembers. He remembers because something is said from the co-pilot. That was the co-pilot from 828 when they were in Eureka Part 2 with a little small lab with Vance and Sanvi. He remembers because the co-pilot said something that was, I don't remember what he said, but it was a quote. And he was describing what he saw when they went into the light. And he was like, I forgot exactly what he said, but he was basically saying that everything felt right. And the moment he said it, Cal had this flashback and remembered being on the plane after he touched the tailfin and went back to wherever he went. He remembers being on the plane with the pilot and the woman that the pilot took off with from the end of season 1. And like he's talking to the pilot and he's like, I gotta go back, I gotta save them. And the pilot's like, no, you can't go back. He leaves, the pilot touches him, and that's the same moment the pilot shows up for a split second and then disappears again. So, but the moment he got back, he remembered nothing. So, I got a question to pose for you. If that's true, then what if when the plane went wherever it went for the original 5.5 years, they're calling it the divine consciousness, and they say they were in this bright light and everything just felt right. They understood everything. It's all connected. It all makes sense. They understood everything. But the moment you leave it, you forget your entire time there. We know that. That's what happened to Cal.
Yeah.
So what if they were in the divine. They were in the divine consciousness. But then, like, they understood the world was going to end. And they were there for 5.5 years. They understood that the world was going to end. Something bad was going to happen. And they knew they were the world's only hope if they went back. And so when they went back, they put all of these different messages in, like, through the black box. And that all the callings were actually what they left for themselves because they knew they weren't going to remember anything.
That would be freaking
awesome. I'm telling you, I actually believe that is what's happening.
I think you might be right because they did emphasize the black box and how it was really, really important.
Yeah.
And like it was like a prized possession almost. So yeah, I mean maybe they understood everything in the divine consciousness that they just wrote down everything they need to know, and those are the callings. Like the callings are coming directly from the divine consciousness because they put them in the black box. Yeah. That would be oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like if you know that you're about to lose your memory, you quickly write everything down on your arm so you have to remember it. Same thing.
That would be insane.
They knew.
But I guess they had 5 years to do it.
Yeah. So. But like, and I'm telling you, I actually think after finishing part 1, I 100% believe that is what's happening. I believe they were in the divine. They understood what was going to happen and what it took to bring it to fix things. So they left, they went back. But like they knew the moment they went back, they weren't going to remember anything. And that's where we are. Now, I'm hoping this is not a slip up. I'm hoping it's something they explain semi-rationally because Manifest is never going to do anything rationally. I'm hoping they really nail down why Cal aged.
Yeah, because I'm still wondering if it's because the younger actor just didn't want to do season 4, or if it's actually because it's a part of the story and, they're going to explain why he aged 5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have just said, like, if it's the case of the younger actor not wanting to do part 4, or season 4, they could just say, oh, it's because he went in the Divine, and they were gone for 5 years, so he came back, and now he's 5 years older. Whatever, like he went back, so that's why he came back older. I don't know. I mean, but yeah, I really do hope they explain that because it doesn't make any sense at all, and I don't really have any theories on what it could be. There's no way he. That's why we brought up those 3 different timelines, but now we pretty much know it's just 2.
I mean, two theories. Just a theory off the top of my head. What if when he left the divine consciousness, what if his first stop wasn't this reality? What if he actually went to a different timeline on accident, and then he just doesn't remember anything?
But can they explain that in part 2? Like, will they have time to wrap that story? They have so many storylines to wrap up.
I don't know.
Like, it's gonna be so interesting.
Or it could just be some loophole. They explain that, maybe when one person leaves the divine, like things are reversed,
or it reversed because he actually went back again. Like,
that's what I'm saying. But like the first time they went back, it wasn't just a person, because obviously there's a way out and you can leave at any moment because he was just able to leave. So, but the first time it wasn't just like somebody left. They took their vessel. Like if this is true, they all as a group like made the decision to go back and took the plane back with them. They didn't just go back. Like they took the plane back and every single person went back. Because we don't know if anybody. No, nobody stayed. They took, because the pilot came back, everybody came back. So maybe it had something to do with people stayed this time and it was only him that went back. So it reversed his original anti-aging effects from the first time. I don't know. Makes no sense. But I'm sure we'll figure it out eventually.
Yeah, that's one of the loop. That's the one loophole. I don't think there's many others, to be honest with you.
I don't know how.
I didn't really have any other problems. Like,
no, I mean,
Netflix, like I said, exceeded my expectations with part 1.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think for me, it's getting better retroactively, looking at theories and like what could be. My only freaking complaint is the fact that part 2, we don't know when technically yet, but it's probably going to be next spring.
Yeah.
And that sucks. Like it should.
I've heard rumors of April and I've heard rumors of June. So it's going to be longer than expected. I was expecting like by the end of the year, but like I guess I was expecting.
I saw today, a couple people say spring break, which is mid-March depending on like what, your school and everything, but typically spring break is viewed as mid-March. So that's still a long time.
Yeah. I mean, but you have to look at it this way. It pretty much is another season. Like they could have called this season 5, but I guess they're going to release it too soon to say it's another season because I mean, it's 10 episodes. A part 2. Like I've never seen this before. I've never seen a part 2 of it.
I mean, I guess this probably seems longer because like of the year change, because Stranger Things came out beginning of May and the next one came out the beginning of July. That's 2 months. So
no, it came out at the end of May, so it was like basically a month. It was like May 27th that released.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. Or like late May. Mid-May, maybe. But either way, it was only like a month and a half. Max.
Okay, well, Ozark came out in January and didn't come out until April, so if it's March, that makes sense. If it's June, oh my god, dude. That's no bueno.
Well, I mean, Stranger Things was only 2 extra episodes, and Manifest is 10.
True, but 2 extra episodes with about 5 or 6 episodes worth of watch time.
If it's June, they're probably not done filming. I would have to assume, right?
I don't know.
I mean, who knows though?
I mean, maybe it's effects CGI. Maybe there's a lot more. Maybe the last 10 episodes are gonna be a lot more stressful.
Well, considering the last scene, there's probably a lot of CGI.
I hope so, but. Yeah, anyway, let's talk about a couple theories. We've already started on the theory talk, but so there's this theory that I know you put on your TikTok about the multiple time. Wait, what did you end up putting? The multiple timeline theory? Oh, yeah. We'll talk about the Stranger Things theory in a little bit. But there's this theory that there are multiple timelines happening here. So you want to explain that?
I mean, after watching part 1, I don't think it's true anymore, to be honest with you, because I feel like the other timeline, there's only one other timeline, and it's the divine consciousness. But the theory was that there's 3 timelines in that them going in and out of it is going out of these... them having these callings going in and out of these timelines. And that would explain how Cal aged, because he went to the timeline where the plan didn't go through the storm and they just landed fine or whatever, and that's how he aged, because he lived that out and just didn't remember it. but now that they explained the divine consciousness more, he probably just went to the divine consciousness, aged, and came back.
Yeah.
So.
Makes sense. I have a pretty juicy theory.
Okay.
And it's on Cal. I don't think... So, I'm going to say the first part of this, and I want you to hold on to your butts and don't be mad at me. Because I don't mean it the way it sounds. I think Cal killed Grace. But I don't think he actually shoved the knife in him. Or in her. I don't think it was like that. So, you remember that weird moment at the end of season 3? Cal shows up, and he goes and holds his mom, and he looks like he knows... He looks like he expected it. He's not shocked.
Well, he looks remorseful.
Yeah, he does, but he tells her... If you remember what he tells her is, this is the way it has to be.
Yeah. And he says that a lot throughout the show.
And so he says, this is the way it has to be. And so, like, you in season 3, assuming he knows exactly what's going on. But then you start out season 4, and you realize he has no clue because he finds out that he looks different. He's confused. He doesn't know anything. So I don't think Cal... Here's my theory. I don't think Cal obviously killed Grace, but I think, he was in the divine consciousness, which means for somehow he had a shared consciousness. Basically you're all knowing. Like, no,
So he knew,
you understand
he knew
everything.
She was going to die.
Well, and here's why. Because to leave, so Manifest, they were gone for how many ever years?
5 years.
They have a death date. Yeah, 5.5 years. They have a death date. I think for him to come back, he knew there's a life for a life. For him to come back and leave the divine consciousness, somebody else had to die.
Okay.
So, and he knew that. And maybe like right when he got back, he had like a moment of...
That he could have prevented it or something?
No, not that he could prevent it, but a moment where he understood. And then it immediately went away. Because maybe until she died, like he had that moment to where he still remembered the divine and he remembered why he was there. And then the moment she died, his life was traded and he was back. And he forgot everything. But I don't know. I think that played something into it. I don't think her death was as simple because, here's another reason why. It's because Angelina was shocked when she found out Grace was dead. When she went to her mom's house, her mom was like, "You killed a woman and kidnapped her baby." And Angelina looked at her and she was like, "Grace died?"
Yeah,
she had no clue.
Did not know. And
obviously she stabbed her because she was like, "I didn't know it would kill her." I don't think a normal stab to the stomach like that would kill you that quickly. And it didn't get her in the heart. It was like down by the hip. So... I mean, that could just be bad writing, but I don't think that would kill you. In fact, I know it wouldn't kill you that quickly. If it did, it would be because you bled out over the course of 2 days. It wouldn't kill you like that. I guess it's like got the liver or something, but that's off topic.
Yeah.
I just don't...
That's weird. I don't know. I mean, I agree with you, though. I think her death was definitely deeper than what it seemed like face value.
Yeah.
And with Cal coming back and everything, now that you say that, life for life, it makes sense. This is the way it has to be. And it can't just be like life for life and Angelina dies. It has to be someone important, probably. And he knew that. But that's the sacrifice he had to make because now he was going to save the world.
Yeah.
And maybe he even knew that, like, Zeke was going to save him, but he forgot because, Grace died, and that's when he lost all the consciousness from the divine or whatever. Remembering from the divine.
Yeah. And... I mean, it's all connected. I think everything from episode 1, that dude, that creepy little mother effer, knew something. He knew something. And you know what's funny is, every time he said it's all connected, like they did these flashbacks on the plane, and like these callings where Cal would say it's all connected. And every time he would say that, it wasn't a normal calling. It was the shining bright light. I think those are actually memories of them being in the divine and him saying it's all connected. And I'm really excited. I really hope they have like a dramatic way of like showing what that means exactly. Because we know like shared consciousness, we're finding out all these pieces, they fit together. But I hope there's some major twist at the end to where like it's all connected immediately just makes sense to us.
Yeah.
Like it clicks.
That goes back to hopefully they have enough time to make everything make sense.
Yeah, true.
So
I think also one of the best parts of the show for me, because I love creepy stuff, you know this, I love riddles. I love when things that you don't think are important, like it has a flashback and then it turns out like you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like it's all connected. Like what the little children's rhyme. And this is so creepy to me because this is an actual children's rhyme. This is one that I heard when I was a kid, but it was different. It wasn't like this. But it was, we're going on a treasure hunt, a very important treasure hunt. X marks the spot, circle the dot, like that thing. We've heard that for a couple seasons now. And then finally, they started singing that at the beginning of one of the episodes. And I was half paying attention and my eyes shut up and I was like, they wouldn't bring this back randomly. And then sure enough, that episode is when Ben like connects with his daughter, like through a calling, like psychokinetically, and it's like drawing on the wall, spiders and like circles with dots. I was like, this is crazy.
That reminded me of Joyce Byers.
Yes, that part was literally like Joyce talking to Will in the Upside Down.
Yeah, I mean, Ben is the male version of Joyce Byers. Has to be. But another thing about that riddle is, like, I don't remember which character it was, but someone's dad like wrote that riddle and nobody knew about it ever, right? I forget who it was. So the riddle was even more significant. It might have been Egan that his dad, like, because they said, how do you know that riddle? Like, my dad's not a writer or anything. He just saying that to me when I was a little kid. Like, I thought that was a pretty, like, that makes it even more significant that that riddle had such a big part in the story.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Ben Stone and Joyce Byers parallel is just too obvious not to be like.
Yeah.
I feel like. I mean, Netflix took over the show, so maybe they said, this would be a good way to whatever,
Yeah, no, they definitely did that on purpose. Well,
they had to.
Yeah, it was. Well, I don't know. The story was already written, and the writers are pretty much the same, from my understanding, from NBC to Netflix. But I don't know. But speaking of, there is one last crazy theory, and that is that Stranger Things and Manifest are of the same universe, and that's wild.
Yeah, I feel like the first thing I want to say is I don't think this is true, but it's very cool to think about. Because you could do this with a lot of shows. I mean, you could do this with every show on Netflix if you really wanted to. You could probably like connect them in some sort of way.
Well, it's the Pixar theory.
Yeah, it's literally the Pixar theory. But it's just very fun to think about. So, Cren mentioned to me and I was like, all right, this actually makes sense. But basically, like what really sparked this theory in the beginning is the ending in part 1 when it literally, there's a building in the middle and the rest of the world is split into parts, and there's lava. Yeah, lava. Like, I don't think it was lava in Stranger Things. It's like part of the Upside Down.
Well, technically, because it was like it was like the crust, like under the crust.
Pretty much. So lava split up the earth, and there was one building in the middle. Same thing happened in Stranger Things. Lava split up the earth, one building in the middle. That right there was like, okay. I feel like that was a reference to Stranger Things. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe they just, whatever. But I told Cren, I was like, whenever you watch episode 10, you're going to notice something that, like...
It looked very familiar. And it was also weird that they ended it like that.
I know. Like, they ended part 1. So, obviously, it's probably not true, but it is a very interesting theory.
Well, the theory goes... It's not just that.
Oh, yeah, it's not.
That obviously doesn't...
That just started off the theory for me.
That's just a parallel. Yeah, so... The theory really has a little traction because you look at the timeline. So... The theory is assuming some sort of ending in Stranger Things, though, because we don't know the ending. But the theory is assuming that Elle either sacrifices herself or they defeat Vecna, and Elle either ends up trapped, or maybe Elle goes to, quote, what we're calling the divine consciousness, or, like, whatever. So, basically, here's this. Elle created the Upside Down. In Stranger Things... Vecna is like he is in the Upside Down. We still don't have complete knowledge of it. Like, we know Elle created it, but
There's a lot more we still.
Is the Upside Down actually just inside Vecna's mind, and she like inverted him, and like that's what's created, or did she create the dimension and like send him there? Like whatever. Like we don't.
Side note, just a quick side note. There's over 30 pages of the Upside Down about it. 30 pages of information that we still haven't learned about that the Duffers wrote, like at the beginning of the story.
Yeah.
So yeah, continue.
Yeah. So the theory is assuming that they defeat Vecna, or at least they think they do. But then, that's in the 80s. So then 40 years, 35, whatever, 40 years go by. So the plane actually, when it crosses, what if it just crossed into like a gateway to either the Upside Down, but maybe a different dimension was created. Maybe it's this, what we're calling the Divine. And now when they come back, they actually have, like, it's L. The theory is that it's actually all these callings are L trying to help them and point them, because she knows either Vecna has come back or somebody like that. Maybe it's Papa has gone bad, and like whatever it is. She is trying to like give these callings and direct them, because she has that ability. She can get in your mind too. She just, like, for whatever reason, she doesn't use it like that, but she can get in your mind. She can do all these things. So what if they're just misinterpreting everything? It's actually L leading them to save the world.
Well, one thing about this theory that honestly made it more believable for me, like, first of all, this theory is so far-fetched, and like we said, it's probably not true.
No, it's
not.
Not.
Yeah, it's not true. But they do refer to the god. Like, there's multiple times where multiple different characters, like, refer to God or the person who's giving them the callings as a she. And that, like, kind of, like, is another point that you could add to the theory as well. But yeah, it's probably not true, but it's a very interesting theory, and it does make sense. Like, whether you don't like it or not, it makes sense, and you can't deny that.
And I think another way to look at it is, what if Netflix is doing what Pixar has kind of done, and if you sat down, you could actually connect every Netflix original and tie them together in the same universe.
That's literally what I texted to my friend as soon as we found that out. Like, I was like, what if all the originals are just one universe?
Yeah.
And like I said, if you really wanted to, you probably could, regardless if it's true or not, connect all the shows. Like, if you really, really dedicated yourself. Because, that's just what we did with Manifest. It was pretty easy.
Yeah.
I do feel like Netflix, like, they did make those parallels on purpose, though. Like I still think the Ben and Joyce parallel is probably on purpose. But I'm not for sure. Who knows? Because they did write it before.
Well, there's a lot of parallels he could be. I think,
but that
it's really,
there's probably a similar parallel to that in a different show too.
Well, there's really the main thing is the scene writing on the wall, like talking to his daughter.
Exactly, and everybody thinks he's crazy and he's ignoring.
It was very Joyce Byers like, but season 4 part 1 to me was very, very, very good. I'm excited about part 2. Yeah, that's pretty much all of the theories and just kind of our breakdown of season 4, part 1. Part 2 comes sometime, probably in the spring. We don't actually know yet. But that'll conclude this episode. First, we're actually going to do a quick game. So if you're new here, at the end of most episodes, we do some sort of game. We're going to be drafting our top 5 manifest characters.
Yeah, so 5 each. You guys can decide who has the better 5 characters. I guess to do the first pick, we have to do rock paper scissors to see who gets the first pick, right?
True.
Right.
That's the same first pick.
Sudden death. 1, 2, 3. All right, rock paper scissors shoot. Rock paper scissors shoot. Let's go.
All right. All right, so pick number 1. This is easy. This is a slam dunk. This is the top prospect. This is the LeBron, the Michael Jordan. I'm taking Ben Stone.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. He was first on my list, too. But I have a solid backup who has proved himself. So I'm taking Zeke.
Yeah, good pick.
He's literally a perfect character, a perfect guy in the show. And if you haven't watched part 1, you know what happens at the end of it. It solidifies his character as a number 2 spot. 100%.
Yeah. No, that's a good pick. That's the pick. That's the only pick you could have made. My next pick, I'm torn between 2 people. I'm torn between making an emotional pick and making a pick that actually I want to make. So I'm going to go with an emotional pick. I'm going to go ahead and take Sanvi.
Okay.
Sanvi.
Dude, she was next up on my
I got to take my girl, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And I got Ben and Sanvi, that quick little moment they had. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, 2 hottest characters in the show, you got them.
Yeah, I got them right there.
All right, well, if you're going to take Sanvi, I think the next up, I'm going to take Cal.
Okay.
I don't know if you expected that.
No, you left a slam dunk for me. I didn't expect that.
That's fair.
I didn't expect that.
I'm taking Cal.
Okay, yeah, Cal. Okay pick.
Yeah.
So to clarify,
I got Zeke and Cal, the duo.
You also get 2 actors in one. So,
True.
So all right, cool. That's fine. I'm gonna take Robert Vance.
Okay.
I'm gonna take my boy.
Wow. I was not expecting that, but that is a good pick. He was on my list.
Yeah, absolute legend.
That was a good pick.
Underrated.
Okay, if you're going to take Vance, I'm going to take, for my number 3 pick, I'm going to take Michaela.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's a good pick. She's the highest person left on my list. That's a good pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So you got Michaela. This is tough.
Yeah.
This is tough. So I can't. My next pick. I can't let you have the couple that everyone is shipping right now for no reason. By the way, let me just tell you: if you're shipping Jakayla, I hope you rot in hell. I'm taking Jared.
Okay. All right.
And just to be clear, Jared's last on my list right now, but I'm taking him as a prevent strategy.
Well, it didn't really work because I wasn't going to take him at this pick anyways. I am taking, with my next pick, I'm taking Olive.
Yeah, that was the next person. That's a fantastic pick. Dang it. So, my last pick. This is going to be a weird one. This is tough. Because this is tough. I'm going to take somebody who at no point has ever made me mad, because I can take the one guy who I love and I think he's hilarious, but he makes me mad, he makes bad choices. I'm going to take the guy who has never made me mad, and I'm going to take TJ.
Okay, you're going to take TJ, and I'm going to take, personally, like one of my favorite characters in the show, and I think you were just talking about it, but we're not positive.
Yeah.
I'm taking Egan because he has so many funny moments in the show. Like, I love the actor, but his character is hilarious. But yeah, he does make me mad. But I think that's a solid number 5 pick for me.
Great pick. Bro has a photographic memory.
Yeah.
Great character. That's a double on your end. Actually, all 10 of I wrote 10 characters down, and all 10 just got taken.
Yeah, same.
Nothing got thrown off the board. That was a solid pick. I personally think I got Ben Vance and Sanvi.
You guys decide in the comments who has the better 5 characters. And yeah, make sure to like the video.
Yeah, and new episode of Popcorn Talks talking about Manifest, breaking down, talking about theories. If you're a Manifest fan, go to our link in bio. Give it a listen. We're also on YouTube. So yeah, that'll wrap up the episode. Do you have any last thoughts? Anything you want to get off your chest other than the fact that Sanvi married me?
Yeah. I have 2 new celebrity crushes. Luna Blaze and Parveen Kaur. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Not positive. That's Sanvi and Olive. So yeah, that's 2 things I want to get off my chest.
If you guys want to come on the show and discuss things with us, we have plenty of room, and we're also upgrading this soon, so don't be taken back by that.
Yeah. So, but I also want to say that I am excited for part 2. I wasn't originally too ecstatic for part 1. I think the only thing that made me actually excited was that it was produced by Netflix.
Yeah.
So now, after seeing part 1, I am excited for part 2, and yeah.
Yep. And we'll be keeping you guys updated on any new news, any kind of news on
release
dates, any hints they put out, anything we get. I know the writer Jeff Rake has been doing some Q&As. He's going to do one every single Sunday. For 10 weeks, actually, because they're doing, they want you to watch it, one a week.
Yeah.
So he's doing kind of a Q&A via Twitter and YouTube. So we'll keep you guys updated, any news, anything that we learn about the storyline, any spoilers, hints we kind of get. So for that, go to our Twitter. We'll be really keeping up day-to-day stuff on there. We'll also be doing daily, for the most part, podcasts. Sometimes we might miss a day, but we'll keep you guys updated. Go follow our Twitter. Join the community Discord. In the Discord, we'll be doing watch nights. We'll be going over theories. We'll have a place for you to chat with other people that enjoy the same TV shows and movies as you. And then, yeah, if you're on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, 5-star review, like, comment, subscribe, notice on, all that stuff. You know the drill. But yeah, DM us if you have any questions or anything you want us to talk about. But yeah, with that being said, this has been episode 7 already of Popcorn Talks.
Wow. Yeah,
episode 7.
I'm excited for the future. And like Prince said, we're going to try to do daily, probably like closer to 5 times a week. But it just depends how busy that week is and how many, like there's so many new TV shows coming out that we're going to watch, that we're going to review and talk about, make theories.
Yeah. So. $18.99.
$18.99 is my most anticipated.
Get ready
watch,
for it. It's
personally.
coming. November 17th.
But yeah, I guess you can find me at RelayTS on all socials, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, wherever, at RelayTS. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yep, same for me, at Crenbeast, all socials. And with that being said, we'll catch you in the next episode of Popcorn Talks. Peace.